HP OMEN is a popular gaming laptop series with regularly upgrade. This year, HP released the 8th generation OMEN with the Intel new processor, and it's our topic today. OMEN 15 2022, 12th Gen i7 and 3060, $1,262, still sounds like a good deal. So, how's it actual performance? How about improvements? Finish this video, you will get answer. As usual, specs first. i7-12700H, 115W RTX 3060, no dynamic boost. 28GB dual-channel DDR5-4800 MHz RAM. 512GB Mercon 3400 storage, PCIe 4.0. 1080p 144Hz 100% sRGB IPS panel. Release price, $1,262. Currently at $1,341, still relatively cheap. Then let's talk about its design. It's nothing different from last general. Expect some improvement on details. The biggest change is exterior coating. It was easy to leave fingerprint on it. Although it still is, it's much better than before. There are some unreasonable parts of this design. First is the hinge. It wobbles a lot. The last general also has this issue. I thought it was because the engineering model, the hinge damping hadn't been adjusted well. Didn't expect it still exists on OMEN 15 2022. Second is keyboard. Strange power button position and half-height arrow keys are really inconvenient. I/O is the same as last general, 3 USB-A and 1 USB-C. Still remains a mini DP port. I think 1 USB-C port, 3 USB-As and 2 USB-Cs, will be more appropriate. Let's move on to the tests. First is screen, 1920 by 1080 IPS with 144 Hz refresh rate, from Inlix. Tested color volume was 102.3% sRGB, color coverage 98.3% sRGB. Average delta E 0.9, max delta E 2.4. Max brightness 319.1 nits, with full brightness DC dimming. Black to white response time 0.16 milliseconds, gray to gray 14.34 ms. This panel, I had tested 100 times. Wide color gamut, high refresh rate and high brightness, which looked nice and was popular back then. Alright, next is the CPU performance. In 15 loop tests of Cinebench R20, results were between 6,400 and 6,700. Compared to other competitors, slightly lower. We found that, in first round, power surged to 115W, then dropped to 100W. It was at 98. Power dropped because of thermal threshold. Since the fourth round, it reached 106W first, then dropped to 90W. P-core clock speed between 3.5 and 3.7 GHz. E-core between 2.9 and 3.1 GHz. Clearly, the CPU thermals is not ideal. On one hand, core was hot under heavy load and power dropped. On the other hand, because of poor optimization, uncore power is not low, between 5 and 8W, leading to less power for core, so clock speed was low during our test. Single core performance was okay. R20 single threaded 694 scores, much better than the last general. For graphics, the 115W RTX 3060 on it doesn't support dynamic boost. 3D Mark Time SPI score was 8,457. FSE 10,147. Overall performance is 3.5% lower than 130W version. A pretty small gap. Let's check the gaming performance. First, we tested Elden Ring, the most popular game nowadays. This game has no default benchmark, so we selected 2 scenarios for test. With ultra settings, when traversing through open area, FPS barely stayed at 60, not stable. GPU usage was close to 100%. Frame loss sometimes happened. It could be bad optimization. When it comes to indoor or dungeon, things would be better, basically stable at 60 FPS. Graphics usage dropped. Frame loss happens less. This game is really fun, but max frame rate is locked at 60, and frame loss is frequent. So we haven't done it in a standard way. Results show that 12 Gen i7 and 3060 should be enough for Elden Ring in 1080p. Next is some others games. We had made some comparisons. You can see, in 3A games, because of not supporting dynamic boost, except in Dying Light 2, it scored lower than Y9000P and G15. After all, mobile graphics power is precious. There's a gap in 115W, 130W and 140W for gaming. For online games, it reached 550.3 FPS in CSGO, which is good and close to other competitors. but it did worse in Dota 2 and Apex Legends. Especially in Dota 2 test, CPU uncore power almost reached 10W, leading to only 40W of core power. Maybe some bugs, and we got similar results in a few runs. For content creation in Adobe software, it got 938 scores in PS, 913 in A. But PR requires multi-core performance, so it only scored 795, slightly lower than other two. In SpecView 2020, it looked good, close to the others. To sum up, it is average on gaming. In 3A games, without dynamic boost, the graphics power is 15 to 25W lower than competitors. This year's new CPU has a power distribution controller, and the power consumption is better. And dynamic boost makes it more effective. However, OMEN 15 2022 is stubborn. No matter how you boost, I'm still on 115W. This is a mixed strategy. As we mentioned, the disadvantage, FPS will be lower. But on the bright side, dynamic boost is still not stable enough now. It has many weird issues, resulting in abnormal distribution in-game. Without this feature, it could be a good thing to some degrees. But once this technology is mature, if HP still won't use it, its gaming performance will be left behind. Okay, after performance test, next is disassembly. It's not difficult to do it. Remove all the screws, and use suction cup and pry to open the bottom case. As you can see, the interior is identical to the last general. 83 Wh battery at bottom. PC Mark 10 Modern Office, 6 hours 43 minutes. Intel AX211 Wi-Fi card, supporting Wi-Fi 6E. 28G Hyrix dual-channel RAM, DDR5 to 4800 MHz. It's close to Y90OOP. PCIe 4.0 Micron 3400 SSD. 4 heat pipes and 2 fans, same as the last general. Next is thermals test. Room temperature at 25. In FPU stress test, i7-12700H was at 96, package power 85W, IA power 78.9W. In GPU stress test, RTX 3060 sustained at 115W. In dual stress test, CPU was around 96. Package power 64.5W, IA power 57.3W. Graphics was at 115W. As for exterior temperature, the end keycap was the hottest at 37.6. The hottest area not even reached 40, which is awesome. It's as cool as the last general. Noise-wise, it reached 55.8 decibels in performance mode under full load. Average for a gaming laptop. In conclusion, OMEN 15 2022's thermals is better than last general. It's great. A cool keyboard is really comfortable. However, not outstanding today. Especially for CPU. In CPU stress test, 85W is not low, but it hit the thermal threshold. It's not enough for 14-core i7-12700H. Okay, as usual, we concluded 3 pros and cons for you. Here are pros. First, it's a good deal in top-tier brands. The release price was only at $1,262, which is the cheapest in top-tier brands. Others are either out of stock, or absurdly overpriced. You can get OMEN 15 2022 at regular price $1,341. Second is the cool very keyboard under heavy load. From OMEN 15 2017 to 2022, HP gaming laptop's exterior temperature keeps getting better. Now, OMEN's exterior temperature becomes a considerable advantage. Third, a small progress in tuning. In dual stress test, it got 65 plus 115W, which is better than last gen's 53 plus 115W. The CPU power under heavy load improved observably. After pros, then let's talk about its cons. First, performance mode doesn't support dynamic boost and graphics power is low. In mainstream gaming laptops, it could be the only one doesn't support dynamic boost. New dynamic boost is more intelligent, and more beneficial to FPS in-game. And during dual stress test, the graphics thermals has extra room, adding this feature is definitely possible. Second is weird power button position and half-height arrow keys. Well, it's a pain every year. Same goes for this year. Third is unstable hinge that wobbles a lot. The hinge is not stable. It wobbles even you touch the desk. I thought it was because of the engineering model. Now it seems like a flawed design. Since it still uses the old chassis, this problem can't be solved for now. I hope the new chassis won't have this problem. Honestly, OMEN 15 2022 is almost the same as last general except for CPU and RAM upgrade. The graphics performance of this chassis is not bad, temperature and noise are desirable. But competitors' thermals are also upgraded. Even F15 increased its graphics to 140W, making it less competitive. Even so, i7-12700H, RTX 3060, DDR5, $1,262 release price. For a top-tier brand gaming laptop, it's still very attractive. In my opinion, OMEN 15 2022 is a good deal. Meanwhile, I hope HP will listen to the customers, improve details to make satisfying products. Well, that's the end of this video. If you enjoy this video, please hit like and subscribe to share information and provide guidance. This is BIBA Review Studio. I'm Jawan. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.